Let's continue that effort, trying to understand it. Joining us right now is Ernie Tedeschi. He's the director of economics at the Yale Budget Lab, also a former chief economist for the Biden administration. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's jump off what they were just talking about, which is when there are conflicting messages coming from all of the folks around a president, the one voice that matters is the voice of the president. And on this question still of, are these tariffs permanent or is it a negotiating position? I want to play for you what the president said just yesterday.
There have been some mixed messages from your administration. You're talking about negotiations, and yet others in your administration are saying that these tariffs are actually permanent. What is the action?
Well, it could be. They can both be true. There can be permanent tariffs, and there can also be negotiations, because there are things that we need beyond tariffs.
Does that make sense to you?
I mean, so when we have analyzed the tariffs, we have been treating them as permanent, as a new fixture of American trade policy. So if they stayed in place, if everything that's been announced in 2025 so far were to stay in place for the entire year and be fully implemented, that would raise prices by between 2 and 2.5%. And, you know, if you're an average family of four, that translates to about $3,800 less in purchasing power for you over the year. If those tariffs stayed in place, that would shave about a point off of our GDP growth, which probably doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, economists right now, when they hear that, they shake in their boots, because they know that that means losing about $300 billion in economic value when you take off that point. So, so the stakes are high about what he means there.
As an economist, is it smarter math to assume that and operate under the assumption that these tariffs are permanent until someone actually presents a solidified deal over a negotiation? Or can you operate on the hope that if they say there's a negotiation happening, you assume a negotiation is happening?
Yeah, I mean, look, no tax is great when it comes to economic growth. We impose taxes because we want to pay for things that we think are worthwhile, but tariffs are a particularly economically inefficient type of tax. But I think that doesn't explain the market gyrations and turmoil that you've seen lately. I think a lot of what you've seen in markets is because of the uncertainty around tariff policy, that businesses don't know what tariffs are going to be, you know, an hour from now, let alone a day, a week, a month, a year from now. And they just don't know how to invest or how to think about business conditions under those, you know, in that environment. So, you know, I think that the best thing that the administration could do, separate from the substance of the tariffs, is just to come up with some finality that they can signal to markets about what the tariff rate will be and stick with it.
Yeah. What do you believe? Say it and stick with it. What is your agenda and your policy would be a place to begin, Ernie. One thing that we've also heard consistently from administration officials is that this is not going to hurt the American consumer or worker. It's going to be the golden age for the American worker, that most Americans aren't invested in the stock market. So these gyrations that we're seeing, they're not taking the same hits that wealthy investors are. What is your analysis on how this trade war will impact lower income Americans? Will it?
It definitely will. In fact, it's going to hurt lower income Americans the most. So I said earlier that for the average family, this translates to $3,800 less in purchasing power. But it hurts low-income families more than it does higher-income families. That's for two reasons. Lower-income families spend a greater share of their income in general, and they spend more of their budget on imports than higher-income families do. So lower-income families are particularly exposed to tariffs. When you look as a share of your income, lower-income families are pinched 2.5 times as much by tariffs as upper-income families are this year. So when we're talking about who gets hit by tariffs, it's definitely not other countries. It's America, and within America, it's mostly lower-income people who are buying the imports that are going to be hit by these.
Raising continued important questions for the administration to answer when they come up with the finality of their policy on these tariffs. Ernie Tedeschi, thank you so much for coming in.